Well, we're coming up on the much anticipated debate of Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. Who do you think is going to win the debate? Do you think it's going to be a good debate, a bad debate? Do you think it's going to be like the last time Trump debated Biden? And what do you think the outcome of the debate is going to be? Do you think it's going to sway voters who's kind of on the fence to either go with Kamala or go with Trump? Or do you think Trump's just automatically going to win? There's no way he's going to lose. He has popularity. He has everything going for him. Do you think that's what's going to happen, or do you think Kamala Harris is going to pull off some big upset in the upcoming election? Got to remember, last time Trump was a shoe-in then too, and he lost. I mean, I'm not saying that strange things don't happen sometimes, right? We've seen it in our own eyes the last election. What do you think if Trump wins? What is going to be the greatest thing he's going to be able to do? Do you think Trump's going to get more money in your pocket? Do you think he's going to get the economy back up and going, and housing market down and pay up and prices, inflation down and all this and that? Do you think he's going to be able to do that? You got to remember he only has 4 years to do it. You also got to remember you're going to have Congress and all that fighting every move that he tries to make, right? Just like last time. Some people will say, well, he'll get control and they'll take control of it. Do you think the what's it called, Agenda 25 is going to go into action? Some of that QAnon is going to happen? Who remembers that? At the last election, he was supposed to, take the election and overthrow it, right? And that didn't happen. Do you think if Kamala wins, she's going to fix the economy? Now she sees that the inflation is bad and the economy is bad, but for the last 4 years, she's been telling you it's awesome, everything's back to normal and it's great. But now that she's running for president, she's saying, "Oh no, we got to get prices down. You can't afford nothing." It's been that way for 4 years. You'll have people say, "Well, why didn't she fix it during her 4 years?" She's vice president, pretty much a figurehead. I'm gonna tell you, a vice president of the United States pretty much a figurehead unless they get power through the 25th Amendment or they win an election, right? What do you think she's going to be able to do to fix the economy? These are questions I want you to sit and think about and answer, because I want to hear people's opinions on this. If you're for the Democrats or you're for the Republicans, I want to hear why you think your candidate is the best fit and what they're going to be able to do and what they will do once they get into office. You got to stop and remember, these candidates are going to tell you all the stuff you want to hear right before the election. They're going to tell you they're going to do this, they're going to do that. And then when they get in office, they might do a little bit of it, but the vast majority of it they don't do. It's been that way throughout time. It's nothing new. I mean, it's just the way it is. But, politics plays on your emotions whether you want to admit it or not. They know what gets you going. That's why they say what they say to you. That they're for this, they're for that, right? They're going to do this, which is going to fix that, which is going to fix that. In the meantime, when they all get together, at their little beach parties and all that type of stuff, they're all friends, right? I mean, you got to understand, America's divided right now. You've got the Republicans and the Democrats, which you shouldn't even be divided that way. You should be looking at what's going on, whether you're Republican, Democrat, Independent, Constitutionalist, whatever you choose to be here. You should be able to look at this and be like, we need to come together and fix these problems, right? It's not that my candidate can fix it. It's American people need to come together and say, we need to fix this. People say, well, you got to vote. Well, you're just voting for someone that you hope can do it, right? I mean, you're hearing all kind of stuff right now about civil war. Civil war is going to break off. We've been hearing that for almost 2 years solid now, and especially since that movie come out this summer, it's all the talk, right? Civil war, civil war. In the old days, if you read your history, the civil war that they're talking about here would be a revolution, not a civil war, right? The government's got too much power. They're spending our money. We're broke. We need a clean slate, and that's not going to happen until the crash happens, right? And when's the crash going to happen? I don't know, but you can't keep propping all this stuff up. This country is so far in debt that now we just print money when we need money. Plain and simple, we just print it. There's nothing backing it. So, in theory, could it go on forever like that? Yes, it could. In theory, I'm going to tell you, yes, it could. But common sense, looking at it, you'd be like, this can't keep going. Eventually, this bubble's going to pop, right? How do you fix that? Well, you got to pay the national debt off. What's the first step in paying the national debt off, right? And some people will say you're wrong, you're dumb for saying this. Stop all foreign aid. Stop it. Let those countries focus on their problems and fix their problems, right? Here in America, we need to fix our problems first before we even stop to consider helping someone else's country. We have so much going on. You got infrastructure that's falling apart. You got homeless people. Inflation's just off the charts, right? You're hearing Trump, he's going to come in and put tariffs on, which in theory is going to lower prices, right? No, it's not. It's going to raise prices because they're having to pay more to send the stuff in. Somebody out there is a lot smarter than me going to say I'm wrong on it, but what's happened here over the pandemic is before the pandemic, our prices were pretty much stagnant. You knew every week when you went to the grocery store, this was the price of the food, right? Maybe it would go on sale, but that was that. The average price of food stayed the same for years, right? Pandemic comes along, we start hearing, that it's supply and demand. People's out of work because the pandemic, they're not allowed to go to work. People sick, they can't go to work, and prices started creeping up, right? Well, when the prices crept up, they held them there, right? Prices should be falling back down now, but they're not. So this inflation is not transitory. We figured out these people will pay this much. They'll complain, but they'll still pay what we're telling them to pay, and we're getting more profits in our pockets, right? You're hearing Trump saying he's going to cut all taxes to pretty much like waitresses and things like that, right? Well, in the long run, what does that help the average working person, right? You're going to say, well, a lot of people do waitress jobs and things like that, or work at hotels and things. Yes, they do. But the average working American is getting taxed to death, right? And not only taxed to death, when you go to the grocery store, you don't have no money no more, right? You're having to pick and choose. The money that you're making is going out quicker than you're making it, right? There is no way someone who's born, or let's just say in their 20s to 30s right now, there's no way with the average income that they can afford to buy a house. A lot of people that age are having to move back in with their parents, right? What multi-generational living is what they're calling it. Which, is that a good thing? Could be, but you've got to fix this now, or like my grandkids, I've got them little. By the time they're my age, what's the country going to look like? Is the country still going to be here? I firmly believe it's not. It's not going to be the way the United States is now. The Civil War stuff is not going to happen. It's not. Number one, they have it to where if you step up and you say something against something, well, you're an insurrectionist. You're against the government, right? You're not allowed to have an opinion anymore. You're not. You're not allowed to disagree with an election, right? You're not allowed to do any of that anymore. We're heading more and more to a communist socialist country here, right? And it's not good, and there's no way to fix it. This election is not going to fix it, no matter who wins. I know everybody thinks Trump's just going to walk right in and win the election. And that's the end of it, right? That by next summer we're all happy and we're making money hand over fist. Our bills are paid. It's not going to happen, guys, because the prices are too high right now, and there's no way to bring them down. Because if you come in and say you can't charge this and you can't charge that, you're going to have people mad. Like, you can't tell me how much to charge for my products, right? That's what we're going to see. The housing market is just absolutely ridiculous right now. In my area, it's coming down a little bit, but it's so overinflated that it's still like nobody's buying much, right? We've discussed it before. $100,000 house in 2017, 2020 is now 300,000 to 400,000, and they've dropped it down about 50,000, right? So the prices aren't coming down. So many people think Trump's going to come in here and everything's going to be great, right? Now, I'm not saying he can't do it, but to be able to do it, you got to ruffle a lot of feathers here, and you're going to be fought every way you turn. You're going to be fought. Stuff's going to be sent to court. You're going to have your congressman fighting over it. All this stuff's going to go on, and you know that. All we can hope for is a 4-year reprieve or a break from what we've been through the last 4 years. And you would think Trump, just by everything you're watching, would be a shoe-in, and he's going to win this election. But you always got to remember, it could happen again that he loses, right? I don't, I kind of pay attention to Kamala's little rallies and stuff. You can't really get a good vibe on how many people's actually there. I don't know. But if the past showed us anything, it doesn't matter if you've got the majority of the vote, you're winning all these polls. That don't mean you're going to win the election at the end of the night, right? I still don't think we're going to know who wins the election until maybe weeks or months after the election, right? Because there is so much stuff going on right now. I would be really prepared if I was you for the election. from the election day all the way into inauguration day. I would really keep my head on a swivel. I would make sure my preps are top off. I have a plan in place. I'm not saying anything's going to break off, but it could on either side here. Either side, something could break off. So let me know your thoughts on this. Comment on this. I want to hear your thoughts of why you think your candidate is going to fix the problems. Who do you think is going to win the election? And do you think we're going to be in better position a couple years from now? Let me know your thoughts on this. Keep your head on a swivel. Be aware of your surroundings at all times. Protect yourself and your family at all times. At that moment, you're the only person can do it. Stay safe. Keep prepping. Guys, got to go to a football game tonight, a JV football game, so everybody stay safe. And anytime you go out in public, keep your head on a swivel. You're not safe anywhere. Stay safe.